I posted one question to 280 different machine learning engineers who've worked in AI for over a decade. I asked them, what is the public completely wrong about? The answers weren't what I expected. We've all seen the headlines. AI is either going to save the world or end it. But the people actually building this stuff, day in, day out, for 10 plus years, they're saying something completely different. Here are the 5 biggest gaps between what the public believes and what's actually happening. Number 1. Every time you use ChatGPT, it's not getting smarter. One engineer described trying to explain this to his boss, who insisted they should train a separate AI model for every single customer so each one would have a personal AI. That's not how it works. Think of the AI like someone with amnesia. Every time they open their eyes, they've forgotten everything. You can catch them up by reading them a transcript of your last conversation, but they haven't actually learned anything. The model is the same. When you're correcting ChatGPT, when you give it feedback, when you say no, that's wrong, none of that changes the model. It just gets added to the transcript it reads next time. The underlying AI that launched months ago is identical to the one you're talking to today. This isn't a small misunderstanding, it's the foundation of how this technology works, and almost no one outside the field gets it right. Number 2. The public thinks AI researchers are geniuses with a master plan, but they're not. One of the most upvoted comments described how AI research actually works. Take an existing model, make a tiny random tweak, run experiments, see if the score goes up by 0.1%, then write a paper explaining why it worked, after the fact. Nobody knew it would work before they tried. It's essentially throwing things at a wall and reverse engineering an explanation for whatever sticks. Another engineer with a PhD put it even more bluntly. Machine learning is a 21st century alchemy, not science. The entire field is built on assumptions that can change constantly, with no firm theoretical grounding. Papers regularly end up with researchers essentially admitting we don't know why this works. The breakthroughs look inevitable in hindsight. In reality, it's a lot of throwing things at a wall. Number 3. Those viral robot videos, the ones where they're doing backflips, parkour, and cartwheels, one engineer explained what they actually show. A robot that has been trained specifically to do that exact move in that exact environment. If you change the surface, the lighting, make the legs 3 inches shorter, the robot can't walk at all. It doesn't adapt and it fails completely. It would have to be taken back to simulation and retrained from scratch. The robot that does a perfect backflip in a warehouse would struggle to walk across your living room. This isn't a minor limitation, it's a core problem with AI in the physical world, and it's why humanoid robots are much, much further away than the funding announcements suggest. Number 4. You've probably seen the AI leaderboards. ChatGPT scores X, Claude scores Y, Gemini scores Z. One engineer who ships real production AI systems said this. He ran a test where the 8th ranked model on the benchmark outperformed the number 1 model on the actual task. Why? Because benchmarks measure specific types of questions, and as soon as your real problem is slightly different from those questions, the rankings become almost meaningless. The model that looks best on paper is often the one that's been the most optimized to look good on paper, not to be useful. And 5, maybe the most unsettling one. One researcher with over a decade of experience put it this way. Actual experts were never really allowed to communicate with the public. The narrative got taken over by people who have only known AI since ChatGPT. Now there's a self-reinforcing bubble. People with wrong ideas upvoting each other, confirming each other, until the wrong idea becomes the consensus. His exact words? Whatever the large majority says defines reality. When was the last time you saw someone talk about AI who's actually been working in the field for 10 plus years? That's the gap, and this thread was the closest I've been to closing it. 250,000 people read this thread when I posted it. I don't think that's an accident. People are hungry for what the experts actually think, not the version that's been filtered through press releases and hype cycles. If you want more of this, real insight from people inside these fields, subscribe. That's exactly what this channel is.